Now, I know the Wooting 60HE V2 is going to be a great option, but I think I just found something cheaper and better. Let's go ahead and check it out. Very high quality secured packaging. All of the accessories that you will be needing will come with the keyboard. Now, first impressions, I think it looks very clean. I got the anodized silver and I think it fits the keycaps very well. And look at this weight back here, amazing. But yeah, you can also get this keyboard in anodized gray, green, black, purple, or sand gold. And yeah, speaking of sand gold, I got that same variation with my Hex 80, and this keyboard does remind me a little bit, or a lot actually, of that keyboard. I mean, the Hex 80 is also from QwertyKeys, but yeah, I'd take that as a good news because the Hex 80 is very high quality. Same with this keyboard. It does have a full aluminum case, even has some weight here again. Comes in around 1,469 grams. Pretty good weight there. Then for the keycaps, it also has a pretty unique design. Personally, I do like the font. Will be personal preference though. But yeah, these keycaps are pretty high quality. See-through, as you can see, made out of polycarbonate, I'm pretty sure. Frosted. Then for the switches, these are OwLab's new Nova switches. I gave you guys a little sound test earlier. It is closed bottom, box stemmed style design. Minimal wiggle wobble, very stable, more stable than the TIs. Again, because of that box-styled stem. It is pre-lubed and it does have that 20mm springs inside of them. And if you know me, I do like how the long springs feel. They make it more bouncy and snappy. The feel of the switches, very nice. But yeah, here's a little sound test with the switches and the keycaps on. Bro, that sounds so good. I might put it up on the top, like with the Hex 80 type sound. Like if you haven't watched my Hex 80 review, I said that's one of my most favorite sounding magnetic keyboards. And bro, this can compete with that. This sounds a bit more unique though, a bit more higher pitched. The Hex 80 is a bit more thocky from what I remember. But yeah, the Neo65 Sonic HE Plus here does sound pretty custom mechanical keyboardy, which is very nice. This keyboard has a carbon fiber plate and a gasket structure, so there is a pretty good amount of bounce actually, especially for a magnetic keyboard. And I'm pretty sure you saw earlier from the unboxing, but it does come in with this thing right here, which enables us to open up the keyboard very easily. I saw this on the Wooting 60HE V2, so this will have a similar feature. And to open it up, you just take out the tab key here, insert it like a key, then we turn and pull. Yeah, just like that. There we go. Peel it off like this. Yeah. Just be careful of this cable here, but yeah, that's how easy it is to open this up. Here's a closer look of the PCB, the gasket, and the layers. This is the gasket mount they're using. And here's more layers inside the case, the keyboard. Very cool. I love that feature. And to put it back, you just like push it in, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And yeah, it's back. Oh, and there's another keyhole here just above the enter key, so it'll make it easier to pop it open if you use both. But yeah, before we move on to the performance, I actually want to test this out with OwLab TIs and see how they'd compare to the Hex 80 sound-wise. Okay, I got the Hex 80 just for this. Oh, and the stabilizers, by the way, forgot to go through that. I think they sound amazing. You heard earlier, there is some lube there, pretty good amount. We also got some silicone here. Very nice efforts in making the keyboard sound good. But yeah, let's go ahead and switch some of these guys to the OwLab TIs and compare it with the Hex 80 that also has OwLab TIs. Okay, here's a little sound test. Okay, after testing the Neo65 Sonic HE Plus here with the OwLab TIs, I think they need to have an option to get this keyboard with these switches. That sounded amazing, bro. But yeah, I could hear the similarities. You can get a pretty similar sound profile. So if you really like the Hex 80 sound, you will be able to do that with the Sonic HE Plus here. I think close enough. But okay, enough with the acoustics of the keyboard. How about the performance? Now, of course, magnetic keyboard, adjustable actuation points. It does have a sensitivity of 0.01mm, very sensitive. It does have 8000 Hz polling rate, but we're gonna test that out more in Keyboard Inspector and my latency testing tool. I can also see a lot of features like Rapid Snappy, DKS that we're gonna be able to access in its web-based software. So without further ado, let's go ahead and plug this in and look at that RGB. And I've been getting comments, turn off your lights. Pretty bright and vibrant. I don't think this is max brightness, but let's go ahead and max that out. Yeah, there we go. More bright, more vibrant. Yeah, I like that. The see-through keycaps definitely helps you see the RGB more. But okay, I have the website where you can buy this keyboard from. Just scroll down, go to Essential Information, Neo65 Sonic HE Plus Configurator, Neo Flux here. Click that and then connect your keyboard, and here we are. Not gonna go into too much details on my reasons why I set these specific settings. Already made a separate video about that. But you will be greeted with the Performance tab here and the 4 different custom profiles that we can set. We can set the actuation point as low as 0.01mm. We can add some dead zones if you'd like. I'd turn that off unless you're experiencing accidental activations or deactivations, but surprisingly I'm not experiencing that with a good switch calibration here. I mean, again, the switches are pretty stable, and I think it does have some sort of anti-misoperation mode, so yeah, just make sure you recalibrated the whole keyboard. I already done that. We also have rapid trigger here, can enable continuous, can go down to as low as 0.01, can select different switches, not that important as long as you know the max distance of your switch. But I'm pretty satisfied with the performance tab here, very easy to set and customize. Now moving on to the RGB effects. We do have a good amount of effects here for dynamic, static, reactive. I'm not really seeing a custom mode right now, or I might just be missing it. I don't know if it's alpha mods here. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very satisfied with all of the effects here. There's like a lot. I like this one here, very customizable. Now, if you experience any accidental activations or your keyboard starts acting weird, you might want to turn down the brightness just by a little bit here, since I've had some weird calibration experiences when the brightness is on the max here. I don't know if it was because of the brightness though, but yeah, you can go ahead and explore. I'm gonna keep mine here though. Anyways, moving on to the advanced keys, we can set Rapid Snappy, SOCD, DKS, Mod Subtotal Key, and the AT, MPT. Whoa, a lot of features. Yeah, all of the features you will be needing is here. Now moving on to the remap key, or tab I meant. We can customize the different layers. Very customizable. We can even set quick switch profile combination keys, so you don't need to launch the web software here, because we can just quickly switch profiles just like that. I love that feature. Now moving on to the settings, we can share profiles, import, do these stuffs, toggle NQ rollover, winlock, these stuffs. Oh wait, do we have some updates? Okay, already up to date. Let's go. You can also do a local firmware update here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the software. Very satisfied. A lot of the features you will be needing is here. But okay, I have Keyboard Inspector here for those interested on the results. Here you go. And I actually didn't notice a way to change the polling rate in the software, but okay. Yeah, this is pretty accurate. 8000 Hz polling rate. No problems with that. But okay, now I have my latency testing tool, OSL-TTCS here. I already made a separate video how this latency testing tool works, but what it pretty much does is it measures the time between when the keycap comes into contact and when the computer actually receives the signal. So let's go ahead and do this test, and here's the results. 0.934 milliseconds. That is very responsive. It does beat a good amount of magnetic keyboards with similar specs. It is okay with so little the difference between this and the Hex 80. I don't think this is faster, but looking at the numbers, this is slightly faster. You'll definitely won't notice a 0.2 millisecond difference though. Like, that is crazy. I mean, not gonna lie, when comparing this keyboard to the top magnetic keyboards on this list or other magnetic keyboards that doesn't have at least 5 millisecond difference, you're probably not gonna notice any difference. But yeah, for those interested on the milliseconds, here you go. Very impressive results. And I always give a little disclaimer that these results can still vary. There can be factors that alter the results, but these results should still be very accurate. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and test this keyboard out more in game.
Research done.
The hunt begins.
Still in sight. Sick. Cutting their vision.
So after playing and testing with the Neo65 Sonic HE Plus, here's my experience so far. Now, as you saw from the latency test, and my gameplay definitely won't hold you back when gaming. It is very responsive. All of the features worked. As soon as I press the keys, they do actuate. As soon as I let go, they do deactivate. I have no problems with its features, like the SOCD worked perfectly. These new Nova switches are also very stable. I liked playing with them, felt very bouncy and snappy. And despite the amazing feeling, it also sounded amazing. And talking about amazing sounding, other than gaming, I also like typing with this keyboard, using it for my daily use, again because of the sound. You heard it earlier. And if you can upgrade it to OwLab TIs, if sound is really your priority, and if you liked how they sounded like with the OwLab TIs, then yeah, I can recommend changing the switches to that. But it's not gonna be as stable as these new Nova switches, so if you like a good balance of sound and feel stability, these Nova switches are also a good idea or a good option. Some might even prefer the Nova switches. Sound will really depend on you. But yeah, I didn't really encounter any issues using this for my daily use, productivity. The spacebar didn't double click on me despite it being on very sensitive settings. And you can also again quickly switch profiles. So if you don't want the same gaming profile to be your typing profile or productivity, as I showed earlier on the software, you can do that here. I also really like the layout of this keyboard. I really appreciate the arrow keys and the extra keys here. The delete key, I use a lot of those for my editing or daily use. But yeah, I've had an overall amazing experience using this keyboard for gaming and daily use, productivity, whatever. Now to answer the question, is it really better than the Wooting 60HE V2? Now the Wooting 60HE V2 at the moment of filming this video isn't really out yet, so we can't really say much, but I can see this being better for a lot of people. Why is, okay, I guess the layout is one, especially if you use the arrow keys and these extra keys here. Having a dedicated key for them is a good idea. I also think a lot of people will prefer the sound of this keyboard over the Wooting 60HE V2. They already released a sound test of the upcoming Wooting 60HE V2, so you can listen to that. Again, will be personal preference still, definitely. But yeah, this keyboard just sounded so good, especially with the OwLab TIs as well. You did hear it earlier. But I think the biggest reason why a lot of people will prefer this keyboard over the Wooting 60HE V2 is because of the price. Now, there isn't really a final price for the Wooting 60HE V2 yet, but very high likely that it's gonna be priced higher than the first version of the Wooting 60HE. My prediction is the Wooting 60HE V2 is gonna be same priced as the Wooting 80HE zinc alloy case version, which is around $300. But yeah, very high likely it's higher than the Wooting 60HE Plus or V1. Now, this keyboard right here, the Neo65 Sonic HE Plus, is gonna be $115. That is around half the price of the Wooting 60HE V1 and maybe 1/3 of the price of the V2. And you're getting all of this, all of the things I just mentioned, I just made you listen to, showed, performance, software, like high quality? What? You're getting a crazy value for the price you're paying here. I think this might be one of the best value for the price keyboards of 2025 actually. So yeah, for those reasons, I can see a lot of people preferring this over the Wooting 60HE V2. The Wooting 60HE V2 is gonna have a pretty crazy competition here. But hey, for now, that's all we're gonna be saying. The Wooting 60HE V2 isn't really out yet. But yeah, I would recommend the Neo65 Sonic HE Plus here. Definitely worth it. Now, the $115 price I mentioned though is gonna be the price in the links in the description and is a sale price. So that's gonna end in around 17 hours the moment of filming this video. So if you really want to get the best price for this keyboard, I recommend you get it as soon as possible in the links in the description. Because again, that is a crazy price. But even if the sale ends, it's gonna be $125. That's just a $10 increase. And even if they charge $125 for this, I still think that is a crazy price. The value you're getting here is still amazing. Now, I don't think I have a discount code, but if I ever do, I'll be putting it in the description before the link. What I'll have a discount code for though is if you're from the Philippines and if you get this from Rotobox, if you message them on Facebook and tell them you're using discount code MIGSS, they will give you some discount and it would support me a lot as well. So yeah, I'll also be putting their Facebook page in the description. But yeah, again, if you're interested, links will be in the description and those are going to be my affiliate links. So if you can use those, it would really support me and the channel a lot, as well as my discount codes. If you can use those, would really help me a lot. And a little disclaimer, this keyboard right here is sent to me by QwertyKeys, but that won't change my review. Everything that you've been hearing me say about this keyboard are all my honest opinions and review. But yeah, I pray and hope that this video helped you in some way. I'll gonna see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to stay grateful and remember, Jesus loves you. Bye bye.